coming to this class. I think you're going to get a lot out of it. It's a great skill to have and utilize in your everyday life. I'm Lieutenant Alessandro. I work in the 50th Force Support Squadron as the MPS Chief. I've been in Master Resiliency Training for about 5 or 6 months now. So I've been teaching a few different lessons here and there whenever I can.
And I'm Sergeant McCullough. I work in the 50th Force Support Squadron as well. I know a handful of faces and names out in the audience today, but I work in the Installation Personnel Readiness Office. So if you work with individuals that are going out the door for deployment, I'm typically the person that helps them through that process about processing for it. I have been a resiliency trainer assistant since August, so I've got my feet wet over the last couple of months, and hopefully I can utilize the skill of being able to teach this to individuals as I'm on my way out the door, PCSing to Korea in January, and then going from Korea to Japan thereafter. So hopefully we can teach over there too. Before we go into our lesson on gratitude, I do want to go over a few things with you. We're going over the context of why we hold Wingman Day, why we go through and teach these classes to you. So this is part of the Comprehensive Airman Fitness Program. So of course gratitude is one of the things that we teach with regard to resilience, and that's the ability to withstand, recover, and or grow in the face of stressors, challenges, and the increasing demands that are placed upon you every day in your work centers. So as you all know, the different pillars you have are mental, physical, social, and spiritual. This kind of goes into all four in a way, so we'll be going over that here shortly when we go into our slides. Everyone, of course, experiences stress in different ways, both from large life events as well as small, and it's important to build upon this skill specifically because it won't only impact you, but it has the ability to impact those around you. At the end of this course, if you are interested in becoming a resiliency instructor, please let us know so that we can route that up to Ms. Jessica Schroeder. She'd be more than happy to have you on board if you're wanting to teach this to personnel as well. Okay, so the slides that I've given out, they are for reference use only during this course. If you are interested in having those on hand afterwards, we can go through and send that to you. Just let us know. So our first slide, we're going to be going over the overview of gratitude. So gratitude is not just thinking happy thoughts and thinking that everything's going to be okay. That may help you temporarily, but in the long run, you want to be able to cultivate this gratitude skill to be able to help you. There is actually a scientific approach to understanding the different methods and techniques when it comes to building upon this skill. So hopefully after we go through this course, you can choose the various methods that you want to utilize to help you with building this skill. It'll allow you to increase your sense of well-being as well as happiness, both individually as well as in a social group or within your work centers. So when you came in, I went through and gave you each a couple of stickies. On one of those stickies, if I could have you write down 3 things that you are grateful for, thankful for, appreciative of, or something of that nature that's happened within the last 24 hours. And with each of those things that you write down, if you could connect that with a specific emotion that you're feeling or thinking of as you're writing it down. So just 3 things that you're grateful for or have a sense of gratitude towards that's happened to you within the last 24 hours. about done writing down their things. And before I have you share, I kind of wanted to dive a little bit more into the overview. Of course. So we're going to be going over the goal of gratitude and when you want to build upon this skill. The core content within this course is going to be the definition of gratitude, the benefits that you have of building upon that skill, negativity bias, cultivating gratitude, the second portion to our student activity, and then we're going to have an overall skill review. So from the audience, who would like to share the 3 things that they wrote down? I'll need 3 people to share. Yes, ma'am.
Should I share now? Sure. Okay. The first one is thankful my daughter was safe after a near accident yesterday. The feelings that I felt were scared yet relieved. The second one is thankful when my husband won his football game yesterday. The feelings that I had was happy to see him fulfilled. And then thankful I woke up today, and that makes me feel blessed and calm. That's it.
There are a couple more people that would like to share. We'll need 2 more.
I'll share. So the first I had was I woke up. The feeling associated is excited, to see what the day brings. The second thing I had was I got both of my kids to school on time. They go to different places. I felt relieved. And the third thing is I finished most of my homework for the week. Again, feeling relieved.
And one more.
So yesterday my husband made breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me. So I felt relieved actually because I didn't have to provide that for him. And kind of along the lines of waking up, I'm grateful that I have a house to be in. That makes me feel comfortable and protected. And then I had a nice conversation with my 18-year-old niece, who is a freshman in college yesterday. And she just chatted with me about testing and college life, and I felt loved and needed.
That's really good. I liked a lot of your responses because, as you all can kind of tell, there's a positive connotation when you're thinking of the things that you're grateful for. I know there's a couple of negative emotions that you had, like you were scared, but then you were relieved. So that's definitely good that you were able to shift from that negative thought process to then the positive, being able to see the good in things. We're going to go deeper into that as we progress in our lesson. But as far as the goal of gratitude and when you want to build upon that skill, is primarily it's a tool to help recall the positive in your daily life and daily activities. Because when you do come across those stressors and challenges, it's easy for you to get caught in that downward spiral, and you want to be able to bounce back from that and reflect on the little things in life that, of course, bring happiness and positivity to you. So for the goal of gratitude, as stated before, you want to be able to cultivate gratitude, build optimism, as well as positive thinking. This will allow you to cope with daily hassles and stressors, and it can improve your overall quality of life. As far as when to go through and build upon this skill, it varies, of course, among individuals. You want to set aside time on a regular basis. We recommend every 24 hours at first, but then of course vary that as you see fit. Because of course you don't want it to be seen as a chore. You don't want it to be seen as overwhelming, because of course that can add then from something that's supposed to be positive can turn into something negative to you. So if you want to go from every 24 hours to weekly to monthly, and even over the course of a year, you can go through and do that. It's just good to go through and reflect on the positive things that happen to you. And then of course in moments of stress to counter negativity, if you do have something that happens on the spot, it's always good to be able to have something that you can think about that will allow you not to get drawn into the negative thing that's happening. So before I go into the definition of gratitude, I know we're a little cramped here, so if I could have people tell me what they think gratitude means, I'll go through and fill in the bubbles and we'll see what you guys can come up with.
Appreciation.
What else do you think of when you think gratitude?
Recognition.
Are there any things in particular to you as individuals that you think of that you're grateful for? I know we brought up, being thankful for waking up in the morning, being thankful for, your health. Anything for our last bubble up here?
Opportunity.
Okay. So I'm pretty sure of all the things that we've listed across the board, we can say that one if not more of those things are things that all of you take value in when it comes to gratitude. Is that correct? So gratitude defined, it's defined as a sense of wonder, thankfulness, and appreciation for life. And Robert Emmons, he's one of the most prominent researchers in the field of gratitude, and that's where this comes from. It's a combination of all of these things that you guys just mentioned. Being able to, again, appreciate the finer things in life, being thankful for your health, thankfulness as a whole, being able to conjure up positive feelings and have just an overall positive attitude. Family, of course, you're grateful for them. They give you that sense of support, that sense of structure. Peace, recognition, I know those are all individual to you. And of course, there's many other things that we could go over, but these are definitely great examples when it comes to gratitude. On the flip side, by a show of hands, can you tell me how many of you tend to focus on the negative? Whether it's getting ready for work in the morning, getting stuck in traffic on your way to work, becoming overwhelmed when it comes to just your daily work stressors. Do you guys experience that? Or are you always in happy land?
Maybe half and half.
Half and half.
Neutral, positive.
Yeah, because I know it's definitely a lot easier to get focused on the negative and get caught in that downward spiral rather than taking a few minutes out of your day or even a few minutes as you're doing things throughout the day just to think about things that you're grateful for. One of the things that we have looked at when it comes to research on gratitude is why do we focus on the negative? Why do we not think of positive things all the time? The brain actually gives more attention to negative thoughts than it does positive because it poses that sense of danger. So you're always going to think about, well, hey, what's going to happen at work today? Or what if I don't make it to work on time? What if I don't get my kids to school on time? You focus more on the negative that could happen versus the positive that has happened or also could happen. As stated before, that can lead to a downward spiral, and you need to have a stronger sense of positivity, and you have to make a conscious effort to counteract those negative thoughts. And as hard as that can be at times, that's why we're here to teach you about how to build upon that skill so that you can have more of those positive moments to reflect upon. When it comes to the benefits of gratitude, there are actually a various number of ones. They consist of improving overall health and sleep, which we've mentioned health. It contributes to progress on goals, so there's definitely that motivational factor to help you progress towards your goals. It helps build social relationships, whether that's inside or outside of your work centers. And individually, there's a decreased likelihood of depression, anxiety, and loneliness. And being as we're in somewhat of a work setting, I always like to go over how it helps to build social relationships. Looking at it from a military perspective, you have your leadership tiers, and then you go down, working down along your subordinates. So from a leadership perspective, do you think that if you showed gratitude towards your troops that they would be more or less off or motivated to in productivity and with their work? I know, especially from a management position, if you have subordinates that are working for you, or even vice versa, if you're working for somebody, don't you want to have that sense of gratitude, like, hey, they actually appreciate what I'm doing, or hey, what I'm doing actually means something. It's definitely good to go both ways when it comes to your work centers, because it overall can increase productivity, and then individually you have that heightened sense of positivity and openness between you and the people that you work with. So that's one of the things that I like to touch upon, especially since we're all within that work environment. So that's all that I have for benefits. I'm going to hand it over to Lieutenant D'Alessandro.
Like Sergeant McCullough said, our mind has a tendency to focus solely on the negative events in our lives and solely on negative emotions, and not on the positive ones. So when that happens, when we focus and pay more attention on just negative thoughts and emotions, pretty much it'll just worsen our mood, make us have bad experiences throughout the day, and it keeps us very close-minded. So what we want to do is build up the positive emotions, so it can help us face adversity when it comes our way and face those stressors that come throughout our daily lives. So what happens when one bad thing happens to you during the day? Okay, it's a bad thing, maybe won't worry your day so much. What about 2 or 3 things that happens? It kind of will completely ruin your day, right? And you become completely fixated on those bad and negative things that are happening to you. But if you look at this model, the negativity bias spiral pretty much shows that if we focus on the negative emotions, we go down this rabbit hole, okay? And we kind of spiral out of control. But if we can boost ourselves and kind of shield ourselves, fuel our force with those positive emotions and positive events, then we can be more resilient people. Positive emotions are pretty much the fuel for resiliency, as I like to say. What kind of things can we kind of plant throughout our daily lives to make us think more positively?
Do you like random acts of kindness?
About here, I have some handouts, so I'm sorry we don't have slides.
Bring my dog to work.
What about just like little mechanisms or little posters, little motivational sayings? Do you think those can boost up your energy and your positive thinking throughout the day if you have those kind of planted in your house or in your workspace? Yes. Does anybody have anything like that in their house? Like right when they leave the door, they see something and it kind of makes them happy or smile?
My supervisor gives me a word every day, and I have to look up a quote having to do with that word, and I put it on my board.
That's awesome. I haven't heard of that one yet, but that's a good idea. Anybody else? Just to get the mind thinking positively throughout the day. Anybody else have? Oh, you had your hand up, sir.
No, I couldn't make it past here.
Okay.
I was just going to say, He's pretty good with that kind of stuff.
That's not true.
It is true.
That little poster thing that says "Think Happy, Be Happy." I actually have that right before I leave my house. It's like on a little poster, so I see that when I leave the door. Sometimes if I get like a good fortune cookie that's very optimistic, I'll leave that fortune on my desk. So if I'm kind of feeling, stressed out or in a time of need or I need help, I kind of look at that and kind of boost my energy and stuff like that. So it's just those little mechanisms that we can play throughout our day to keep us thinking more positively throughout the day.
Apps are good too.
Phone apps. Okay.
Yeah.
Specifically, what do you have?
Well, I have a couple of, I can't even think of the name because I'm put on the spot. Some of them are just quotes, like it's like Buddha today or whatever, but they'll pop up on my phone and it just gives you quotes, things to think about, things that are calming or things that are positive, and gratitude and everything. So that really kind of helps. You can just go look at that.
Yeah, that's an awesome one because I know for me, I like seeing things physically, and so that on your phone, a lot of us are on our phone throughout the day regularly. So
There's
just
tons of
seeing
them.
that
There's tons.
visually and stuff like that, that's an awesome way.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. I'm not sure if any of you keep this on your desk, but sometimes there's those funny motivational calendars, the little desk ones. So every day when you start a new day, there's probably something funny that'll lighten the mood. Or for me personally, gratitude is a lot about the mental aspect of it. So positive self-talk is definitely a good thing. As you're getting ready for work in the morning, say one good thing about yourself or one good thing about a family member that'll kind of get that drive going. And then as you're on your way to work, just continue to think positively so that way when you're at work, if something negative does happen, it won't be nearly as bad as it would be if you were already in a bad mood and it just kind of, like she had mentioned, leads you down that rabbit hole and keeps you in that negative state.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about how to counter that negativity bias, how we're going to cultivate gratitude in our daily lives, and how we're going to build and generate that positive emotion. So pretty much what we want to do for this skill is start out on writing down 1 to 3 things a day that you're grateful for. Everybody we put in their bags a little gratitude journal, so that's a great way to start out if you don't already have that in place. So I actually have an example. Someone gave this to me for Christmas last year, and it just says Sarah's Gratitude Journal on it, and it says inside, write one thing every day, something that made you laugh, cry, be thankful for, or just smile. And pretty much it has every month with every day, and you just sit down and write down 1 to 3 things, that you're grateful for. And sometimes we can often forget to do this, so what I like to do is kind of just keep this on my coffee table in my living room, because when I come home from a really long day at work, I kind of just like to flop down on the couch for a few minutes. So when I see this right on my coffee table, I'll grab it and say, I'm going to jot down a few things that went well for me today. So this is an awesome tool to use, and you guys all have it. We gave you one of them if you want to start out that way. Also, you can start gratitude jars. So this can be used maybe over a month period of time. Basically, just write down on a sticky note once a day with the date of what went well for you. Did somebody else do something nice for you? Did you reach a goal? Write down what happened, what was great, and then the date, and then put it in the jar. And then at the end of the month, you can kind of go through and read the things that you're grateful for. So this is also a great tool if you guys want to implement this as well. So pretty much what we want to reflect on are things that happened in our life that are good, and also how other people might have contributed to those good things. It's not always about us. There's a lot of other people that help us out throughout the day too. The other thing is we don't want to be comparative when we think about things we're grateful for. Often we'll see things on the news, I just brought this up before, about all the people that were affected by the hurricanes a few months ago. A lot of them don't have houses or roofs over their heads right now, so we don't want to be comparative about that and say, oh, I'm grateful I have a roof over my head, because those people don't. We want to make it about a goal we achieved, something good that happened to us, and how other people contributed to that factor as well. We want to be specific about it. So going into when we're going to use this skill and how we reflect on this daily. So what I want you guys to get away from this is don't ever stop reflecting on gratitude. Like Sergeant McCullough said, we want to start doing it every day, but if it becomes a chore, to maybe scale it back. Maybe just do it once a week, and then you'll get more of a benefit out of it. There's other ways we can cultivate gratitude. It's not always about us, and we don't always have to jot things down. There's other ways that we can cultivate gratitude towards other people as well. Does anybody have any examples of other ways we can cultivate gratitude? Not just by writing things down every day.
Towards other people. So, something I do, like whenever I work mids and I'm staying up late trying to work towards a mid, I'll stay up and just like write like a letter to my wife for the next day. Just like, oh hey, thanks for doing all these great things and stuff like that.
Gratitude letters, that's exactly what that is. Honestly, like that's a thing that we often forget to do in the office. I know, ma'am, you said like sometimes you can overdo it and where it loses meaning, but sometimes people just completely forget to thank, their subordinates for the little things they do. So, I mean, if you can just go out, to Walmart and get those, cards that are completely blank. So just stash them in your drawer at work, and then if somebody does something great for you, helps you out, and you really appreciate the help, just write them a little gratitude note, just stick it on their desk, and they'll really appreciate that. Other things you can do to cultivate gratitude are, when you come home from work and you're having dinner with your family, you're sitting down, everyone can, go around the table and say one thing that they're grateful for that day. Another thing that I do in the office, we call it a brag board, but you can call it a gratitude board as well. Pretty much it's if anybody does something good in the office, or they get a kudos via email or something like that, or they have a spotlight on, PA's Schriever Centennial or anything like that, we'll kind of cut and print it out and we'll post it on this board, and everyone can see it. So when you walk by, you can kind of read what good things are happening, what good things people are doing. So that's a cool way to, if you want to implement that in your workplace. This one that says, ring the bell when things are swell. My old boss put this in our, probably illegally because we drilled it into the wall, put this in our office about a year ago, and pretty much when anything good happens, she'll ring the bell, or anybody can ring it, and then we all kind of crowd around and we kind of discuss like what happened. So it kind of boosts everyone's positivity emotions, makes everyone happy, and I like that idea a lot too. Okay, going on the frequency. So research has shown that people benefit from this skill more when they reduce the frequency. So I challenge you guys to try doing this daily, but again, if it becomes overwhelming, if it's not helping you and building optimism like it should, then scale it back. Maybe try once a week, a few times a month. Just vary your frequency on that. And don't just do it in times of stress. Do it as a routine. Make a habit out of it, okay? So we're going to go into a little student activity. So I know you guys wrote down a few things that you're grateful for. But for those who didn't share, can I have your sticky notes? Okay, like I said before, when we're utilizing this skill, we want to be specific, and we also want to, try to tie it to other people and not be so comparative. And we also don't want to be broad. A lot of us will just say, I'm thankful because I have a roof over my head. Okay, well, why? Why? Who contributed to that? Did your spouse contribute to that? Did your dependents or children contribute to that? Or just like the workplace, I'm so grateful for my coworkers. Well, why? What specific coworkers are you grateful for? What have they done to make you grateful for them? So what I'm going to do is pull a few of these off of here and read them off, and whoever's it is, I want you to stand up and kind of elaborate more and give a deeper meaning to why you're thankful for those things. And so whoever does that will get a gratitude jar at the end, okay?
Okay, so the first one is my wife, sleep, and financial security.
So about elaborate on one of them. Maybe just one.
My wife.
So, I don't know, I just appreciate my wife a lot because she helps me through. I'm going through this because I'm generally trying to become a more negative person and she keeps me on the positive side.
You can get another jar. Oh, sorry. Here you go.
being alive, my family, and my coworkers.
Do you want to pick one of them? You can pick one to elaborate on.
Just to kind of, yeah, I only name off all three. My coworkers.
Really, these are two of them, but I'm just really grateful for them because when I come to work, I'm actually, like, I enjoy it. With these two, there are others, but these two specifically, I am grateful for. Keep my attitude up during the day. That's really it.
So the last one we have walking, park, and jog. Go and jog.
It's happy to be out there looking for a job. It makes me calmer.
And I actually like that one as general as it is. I know especially for, either on the military side or in the civilian sector, it's just great for us to be able to have the opportunity to do the jobs that we do, because a lot of the times people don't have the opportunities that we have to be able to get into the fields that we do. So it's definitely great to have that sense of security and something to be able to work towards. So that's my little take on gratitude for that specific topic.
Really quickly, we're pretty much almost done with the lesson, but going back on the health benefits, there's a multitude of health benefits that have been, thoroughly researched, and you guys can look them up anywhere. But specifically, like on the sleep thing, there's tons of articles out there that say, those people that reflect on 1 to 3 things right before bed that they're grateful for, they will have a better night's sleep and a better quality of sleep as well. And sometimes we get, caught up in our work days, we get overwhelmed and stressed out, and usually, like for me, if I have a kind of rough day at work, I'm just driving home thinking about all the things that I didn't get done that day, and then all of a sudden I'm home and I don't know how I got there kind of thing. So, reflecting on good things and just, it makes us be more in the present moment, and it makes us more mindful as well. Does anybody have anything they want to add?
I have a question. So you said it's not good to compare when you're talking gratitude. Is that because really what you're doing is focusing still on the negative? So with your example, is that why?
Right,
So
yeah.
with your example of you're focusing on the fact that we do have a home and the people who are affected by a hurricane don't, you're just thinking about those who don't. You don't want to be in that scenario.
Right, okay, yeah.
I was just curious.
Yeah, you want to make it about what's good, what good is happening to you, there's always good things happening around us, but specifically to you and how others, your loved ones, or people that you work with contribute to that as well. So, yeah. So I definitely challenge you guys, and we challenge you guys to bring this skill back to the workplace, because a lot of people don't know how to cultivate gratitude or what kind of mechanisms or skills they can use throughout their daily lives to cultivate gratitude. And some people really need this, right? The nature of our job is pretty stressful, and this stuff can really help out a lot of people mentally as well. So, thank you. Thanks for your thoughts. Thanks for your answers and contributing.